Hello and welcome everyone to another review. This time we break ranks by looking into a minigolf game, and not just any one. This is 3D Ultra Minigolf from the time of '97. For me, this game is part of my childhood and, even to this day, one of the best minigolf games I have ever played. Back in the day, we would always gather around the PC to play this game. That was something magical, especially if you consider that local multiplayer games are rare on this platform. Before we start, I have an annotation to make. We are playing the standard edition of this game. I'm fully aware of the deluxe edition with more content, but this is stuff for another tale.
Jump!
3D Ultra Minigolf offers 18 holes that needs to be conquered, divided into the courses front 9 and back 9. You can play all holes at once if you select the whole course option, then you won't get any interruptions. And if you want to criticize this game, then for the lack of content. All holes can be completed in like 15 minutes, but obviously you play a minigolf game like this more than once to know all the wrinkles. So just let it sit on your computer. It does not take much hard drive space in the first place. The game is entirely played with a mouse. With it, you can change the direction of the shot and how powerful it will be. There are two different control options available to tweak it to your own preferences. The so-called easy put and real put. What is the difference? Well, with easy put, you hold down the left mouse button to control the strength of your shot, much like in the Worms games. When playing with true put, the strength bar will not be present anymore, and instead you use your mouse like a real golf club by swinging it over your mouse pad. But what sounds like fun plays like a catastrophe and is only recommended if you were having a drinking evening with friends. Up to 4 players can play together, by the way. You can even choose your ball color to inject some personality. But when we played this game way back, we would always try to shoot away the opponent's ball for a good laugh. Apropos, the option menu in this game is one giant disaster, but this could also be owed to Windows 10. You see, or better, you see not, when you change something in the options. There is no visual feedback when you make your changes. You first have to quit the menu to see what has been altered. I'm unsure if this was intended or I'm just having backwards compatibility issues, but there is an alternative. All options can also be accessed at the menu bar, which appears when you move your mouse cursor to the top of the screen. Sometimes this can also get in the way when you are aiming for your shot. Speaking of the goal of the game, I think everybody knows the rules of golf, right? You have to bring the ball in a few shots as possible into the hole. Each of the levels has its own par that you try to beat. After completing a level, the game shows you a shot statistic and how good or bad you are. Again, you don't win here by having the most points. Besides regular golf, there's also something for the speedrunners among yourselves. In the mode race play, you are fighting against a ticking clock. It does not matter how many shots you need to beat the level, but rather how much time you wasted on one. So don't be shy with your mouse. I, for myself, prefer traditional golf. You have probably already noticed it, but they are not your typical minigolf holes. That would be rather boring. After all, we are playing a video game. Each hole comes with its own comically theme. For example, you will play at a lighthouse, the Arctic, a space station, or even a medieval castle. There's something for everyone to be found here. But what makes this game so special is not just being the best minigolf player of all time, well, you still can be if you like, but rather playing the ball against all different kinds of objects and just see what happens. You can trigger all different types of events that are not always positive for you. For example, if you put the ball too hard at the start of this level, a T-Rex will appear and crush your ball into dust. The game is sometimes very creative and rewards you with funny moments. So don't focus that hard to get the ball into the hole and just experiment a little bit to see what happens next.
Oh, see ball. Oh, hit the ball good. Oh, good golfer.
3D Ultra Minigolf offers, unlike the name suggests, pre-rendered backgrounds that will change the perspective depending on the ball's position. Back in the day, they looked compelling to me. Remember that we are talking about a resolution of 640 to 480, so don't expect the crisp image on a modern monitor. This brings me to the technical aspect of this game. You cannot buy this regularly anymore, so the only way to get this game on your PC is to buy a used copy on eBay or look for it on the dark web. But to get the son of a bitch running is a different kind of story. To my surprise, this game launched directly into the main menu without any issues the first time I installed it, so I was off on a good start. But right when I wanted to jump into a new game, it just crashed. But there was hope. You can find a fan patch that makes it running on modern operating system. I will put the download link in the description. Sadly, this was not the end of my odyssey. Now I didn't have any music, but you can fix that as well by making a right click at the Game X and changing the compatibility mode to Windows 98. But there was still something that annoyed me.
Oh shit, here we go again.
You see, 3D Ultra Minigolf launches into a window that also displays a window. Sounds strange, but it is what it is. The first window takes your whole screen and fills it with minigolf balls. In the middle of it, a second window appears that shows the actual gameplay. The problem is, this second window does not scale on higher resolutions and cannot be changed otherwise. So on my 1080p monitor, it is very tiny. So back to the Game Max and we can force Windows to run the game in a resolution of 640 to 480 and voila, we have full screen now. Admittedly, everything becomes much blurrier, but on the other hand, I don't have to lean forward every time I want to see the goddamn ball. A decision you have to choose for yourself. When everything just works, you can finally dive into the crazy world of 3D Ultra Minigolf with its funky character, which already takes shapes in the form of its moderators. Each hole has its own unique speaker, sometimes even more, that is randomly picked by the game and give a short introduction to the hole while also commenting on the current play session.
Here be the lighthouse hole. Par is 3 and not a shot. Sticker in the lighthouse for a quick way down.
On the other hand, we have the music that is always very fitting to the current level you are playing on. Particularly the main menu theme will be burnt into your head after some play sessions, believe me. But my personal highlight was the one of the demolition site, which is remarkably relaxing to listen to. The only downside is that you can't change the volume of it. Now there is a volume control in the options menu, but as far as I can tell, it only adjusts the main menu theme and not the in-game music. This leads to situations where you can barely understand what is being said to you. I also found it very interesting that a unique animation will be played on some holes when you manage to beat it on par, like on this rocket level. Must anyone also think of Star Trek when he hears that song?
Rocket is staged and ready for the launch.
Every shot, 2 thumbs up.
3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
And with that, we once more reach the end of another review. In a nutshell, this is a beautiful and very playful minigolf game that is not very hard to beat, but puts you in a good mood whenever you start it up. And as I have already said, it doesn't take much time to beat, so you can always start it up whenever you feel bored. There isn't quite a minigolf game like this, so definitely try it out. And with that, thank you for watching, and until next time.
That's in the bottomless pit!
Cost you a penalty stroke for that.